Amazon are on the bit of a warpath at the minute, setting things right. We got the trading post being re-enabled, we got the return to Eternum server merges, and changes to the war cooldown. So we're going to talk about all of that. If you want to help me grow the channel and support me, becoming a YouTube member is really the best way. So there's quite a few things. We'll start with the trading post because that's the big one, the exploit, right? So they say that we have confirmed that the exploitation of this bug, the exploit that basically let you duplicate trading post listings, primarily occurred on Sutek, and the fix went live. We sort of saw that, right? There was a patch, was that last night? That came live this morning. That's gone live with a couple of changes to the Winter Festival and stuff like that. For pretty much all of the servers apart from that one, the trading post is now re-enabled, and so is play-to-play trading as well. We will provide an update when the trading post for this one server gets re-enabled. I'm not going to make a video about that, it's just one server. If you're on that server, it's a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. In a way, this whole message sort of reassures me a little bit that it was primarily just on one server and it's not been completely like widespread, and it sort of implies that they did catch it relatively quickly. They also had a developer come in and talk about some concerns that the community was having. Somebody was like, nobody will be banned, and they're like, yeah, people are actually going to get banned. They are wielding the ban hammer. They have server logs, and you know, they're getting banned. Of course, we have to take Amazon's word for it. They're not like an independent source, obviously. However, we are starting to see I was banned incorrectly threads on like Reddit and the actual forums themselves. Generally, that's a sign that people are getting banned, at least, if not the right people. Then there was concern about a company treasure dupe that happened last year, and they're saying that it's not the same. This wasn't the same wealth bot we put in place last time, and the problem was also swiftly fixed. I don't sort of get this because it says all reports so far have been investigated as false. Does that mean that they're saying it didn't happen? Basically, I'm guessing there was some way of spending your gold from a company and it wasn't getting used. Maybe, but they're saying it was fixed very swiftly and it's not really a big issue. I don't know how true this one is, but I just thought I'd deal with it here because some people mention it in the comments otherwise. Ultimately though, they've fixed it for pretty much every server now apart from one. They've banned people, they've got the logs, they've got the self-alarms and stuff like that. I don't think this is as big as probably the past exploits, but really it's the optics that are the problem. People see an exploit and they don't really assign any kind of value to it. It's just, that's bad. And it is bad, and we have to take Amazon's word for the severity of it. And really it's the community's perception that's actually the main thing, and Amazon don't really have control over that, if you will. Anyway, let's move on. With that dealt with, hopefully now let's not talk about it here. There is this post, which ultimately, let me just say I'm not going to read the whole thing. However, I agree that this is the right decision. The return to Eternum servers are being merged with Fresh, okay? Not Legacy, they're being merged with Fresh. That's a good decision. However, the reasoning I just find a little bit weird. This whole section here is sort of them justifying why they think it can go into Fresh. They say that actually the people on the Return to Eternum worlds has 35% less coin than the average character on Fresh. You can read the whole thing. The problem really is that it's more that the Return to Eternum people will have a lot more materials because it's very easy to farm because there's nobody on those servers. However, the fact that they are actually trying to justify why it's going to Fresh, for me is actually a problem. If you can justify why it can go to Fresh, why did you make the decision in the first place to send them to Legacy, and then only after community backlash did you change your mind? I mean, I guess they sort of address it here. They're like, there was significant slowdown in the economies. Yes, because the economies, everybody left because the servers died. I don't know. I just feel like they inadvertently hurt themselves for no real reason here. They could have just merged them with Fresh and most people wouldn't have batted an eyelid, right? Some people on those Fresh servers have been like, oh no, the materials are going down. But it would have been dealt with in a couple of weeks and months. It wouldn't really have been a big issue in the long run. They do talk about general toxicity when there is a world merge, which is fair enough, but the game just doesn't support server working in any other capacity, so we're just going to have to deal with world merges, right? It's just one of those things. They are happening on the 15th of December, and you can see the servers are being merged on screen. I think I was on Titan, and that's going to Isabella. All right, fair enough. As I said, the main thing there was the fact that they just inadvertently created a problem for themselves, and I don't really think they needed to. And then there's this one where it's like they disabled the war roster limits and the cooldown restrictions because what was happening is that they were applying to people who did it before the patch. So if you left a company before the patch and then the patch went live, you then got like the 72-hour cooldown, and people were like, I can't participate in the wars. I thought it wouldn't be retrospective. So they disabled that. Then they're just quickly clarifying here what they actually have disabled. They have temporarily disabled the war roster mercenary limits, so company leave cooldown will not impact them. That basically means you can now just fight no matter what because you can have mercenaries, so it doesn't really matter. They've also temporarily disabled the influence earning portion of the company leave cooldown, which I think basically means you can generate influence for the company that you've just joined, whereas that won't be possible. It will be on a cooldown in future. And that future date is that they are extending that duration to the 15th, which means you need to be completely done by the 13th. They're giving you warning now. If you do not abide by that, tough poop, right? They've given you the warning, and that was the problem with the transfer as well, with the server transfer. Fair enough, understand. I think that's a fair way to deal with it. I think next time it would be just nice if they give the warning beforehand and everybody just knows it's coming. In future, if a cooldown like this is coming, if you're a player, just assume the worst for yourself. Overall though, I think Amazon are making the right decisions and the right moves. The trading post is re-enabled for pretty much every server apart from one. The Dupes are being banned. Return to Eternum is being merged into Fresh. Even though that might be awkward for some Fresh servers, it was probably the right decision. The optics on it just looked bad otherwise. And the cooldowns, they were like, yeah, it was a bit unfair that we didn't warn you it was going to be retrospective, so we're going to temporarily sort it. Yes, it's a shame for the people who got caught out, but you know, these things happen in life. It's not the end of the world. It is, after all. It's only a game. So yeah, Amazon making some right moves. Obviously, the right move for the dupe would be to just not have the dupe in the first place, but if you're not going to get that, this is the second best we can hope for, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Again, big shout out to my YouTube members. It really does help, by the way. I'm not just messing when I say that, like it truly does help. My long-term plan, ideally, is to save absolutely everything that I get, and then eventually maybe try and go like full-time for a year and see if I can actually make it work. So I'm saving all of the money basically with that in mind. So it really is helping. What you should definitely do though is have the most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.